So, what if you could build an entire AI app before your latte cools down? Today, we're going to put that to the test. We're going to build 3 apps in 1 hour, zero headache. Welcome, humans. I'm Corey, joined as always here on the Neuron podcast by the ever curious Grant Harvey. How's it going, Grant?
Good, Corey. How are you doing today?
Good, good. Doing well. Kind of excited about our little challenge here today. So we're gonna strap on our dev goggles, which you should know I don't own. I am not a developer. I'm not a software engineer. But we're gonna make this happen anyways, and we're gonna dive into Google AI Studio's app builder to see if we can whip up 3 very different apps. A practical one that has reasonable needs, a fun one, and one that's just kind of off the rails. So, all in one episode in 1 hour. Grant, going to talk a little about AI Studio, kind of explain what it is and how this works,
Yeah, definitely. So AI Studio is Google's, you could call it its like studio for AI app builders. So
like the
if you are
playground on OpenAI, kind of.
exactly, so if
Okay.
anyone's ever used the playground or done anything with APIs at all with OpenAI, this AI Studio is basically Google's equivalent version of the playground. So what that means is that you can go to AI Studio for free and test prompts and do a whole lot more than that to see how it will react in an actual environment if you wanted to then go and deploy that prompt or even an application in production. So, does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense, and it's pretty crazy. I think for me, I saw a lot of the early apps, when Cursor and Replit and all these were dropping, was all really interesting. But like, and people said, you can do this with no coding experience. But yeah, you kind of could, but it wasn't necessarily good, and it was really intimidating. And what intrigues me here is this doesn't feel as intimidating to look at, to watch it work, to be able to talk back and forth with it in natural language, and those others maybe as well. I don't mean to jab on anything, but you mentioned deploying, and that's a thing that really excites me.
So here I have just like a very basic window. This is AI Studio, but I have it on the Build Apps tab right now. So if you see right here, you can go. There's 4 different options. You can chat, which this is just a basic, send a prompt as a test. Show me what you can do, and we'll send that, and that just runs it. So here you have Gemini's thinking. You can watch the thoughts here, and then it gives you an answer. As
Well,
you can
it's
see, this
fast
is,
in here too.
yeah, definitely. There's a little panel like where you can choose the actual model that you want to run here. Flashlight is the new one that just came out. So 2.5 Pro is the best one. And then what's cool about this is you can then add system instructions. So you can give a prompt, but then you can also test system instructions that you would run with that prompt if you were going to put this in your own app. So besides chat, you can stream, you can generate media, which this is like images, video. Streaming is you're actually talking to it live. You can share your screen, share a webcam, which is pretty amazing.
ABM kind of comparable, right? Same type
Yeah,
of tool. Yeah.
exactly. Advanced voice mode is what you're talking about
Oh
there.
yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. For folks who don't know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then this one, which is build apps with Gemini. So this is what you're talking about here when you say that you can deploy it. So what this means is, let's say we were going to say, let's make a dynamic test game with Gemini. This is not one of our 3. This is just one of their pre-built options here. As it goes through and begins building this application, you can then, once it's done, deploy it on Google Cloud, like really
Mhm.
easily. And we'll
Yeah.
show you exactly how that works. It's like a one-click button, which is pretty cool.
Grant, I think something important to address here early on is the amount of skill required to use this tool. Like I look at that and what I see is a terminal on the right that's probably a little intimidating. Um, but am I correct in understanding I don't have to use that? Do I have to be an engineer to be able to do anything with this?
No, technically. So the skill required, this is a tool that's designed for developers and ambitious hobbyists.
Mhm.
So while yes, if you're a developer, you're going to be able to go in, tweak the code, give it a lot more granular feedback. If you're not a developer, you don't need any AI background. If you have a little JavaScript and Python and some prompt engineering chops, like that works great here. But
That's probably plenty,
honestly,
yeah.
you don't even yeah, that's just about all you need. And what's really amazing about this, Corey, is that these apps actually work with Google Gemini AI models on the back end.
Mhm.
So you can create, as someone with no AI experience, no code experience whatsoever, you can create an actual AI application that uses AI um, and deploy it. It's pretty amazing.
Wow. That is cool. I wasn't sure, I've looked around in here a little bit and it seems easy enough. And I played a little bit and was pretty impressed. The speed was pretty crazy actually. It's a thing we'll talk about more as we go in, I'm sure. But what kind of things could a person build with this, Grant?
So as we mentioned, like we just picked something randomly from the template here, and this was a video game template. So let's actually try this out. This was something that we didn't come up with at all. It was just one of the pre-built ones. So I click begin my adventure here, and it looks like it is using
Crafting our
Gemini
destiny.
models. Yeah. Oh, look at this. Okay. Kind of like a text adventure here. So it's streaming the text. So yours is stirs awake on a cold, damp stone floor, throbbing ache behind your eyes. There is thick with the scent of mildew and forgotten things, and the only light comes from a single sputtering torch wedged in the distant crevice. And then you
Well,
can
don't
choose from,
tempt me with a good time. That looks fun.
and then so you can choose from these options. So like, try to recall how you arrived here. What happens? We can make this bigger too. So obviously, to answer your question, video games is one, or text adventure games is one.
Okay.
So we're seeing this kind of play out here, which is really cool.
It's
And you
really
can,
cool. I can't stress how far we've come in just 12 months when it comes to generating a game of sorts.
yeah, it's wild. I mean, this is pretty basic, but think about all the engineering that you would have to know inherently to spin something like this up on your own, let alone the fact that it's using AI to generate the content.
Will it build Doom?
Um, we could try. Probably not for copyright reasons, but I will ask it that in a minute. That's a fun idea.
Sorry, it's a running thing on Reddit. There's this I follow this subreddit that uh is nothing but people trying to see what they can get Doom to sideload on.
That's
And
awesome.
I've seen it on a pregnancy test. I've seen it on a all kinds of crazy things that you wouldn't believe that, in TI 83 or 86.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
There's a showcase down here that shows a lot of different options. So like live audio, experience real-time voice chat, prompt DJ, steer a continuous stream of music with text prompts, MCP maps, which is build photoreal 3D maps with natural language using MCP.
Ooh.
Let's see, video to learning app. So instantly turn YouTube videos into fun learning apps using AI. That's awesome.
And, I think it's important we point out here that when you see these, you're not clicking on someone else's app and downloading it the way you traditionally think of apps. What you're doing when you click that is you're telling this app to build that for you. It is yours. It is not owned or managed by someone else. You can literally just upload this thing to Cloud Run and have it. Share it with friends, you could choose to not share it, you could market it, build a business with it, you don't have to, and, um, I think something else important to call out here is we were talking about experience just a minute ago and kinda what skills you need to bring to the table here, and I think this is very much a situation where, like with AI graphics, AI music, AI writing, anybody can do it, but in a professional's hands, they're gonna be able to do it a lot better.
It's true, definitely. Um, So let's say you wanted to build this is awesome. So for people who are not watching live, so basically I just picked on randomly one of these, which is explain things with lots of tiny cats, which anyone who reads the Neuron knows we're very cat friendly here. uh, and this is explaining neural networks with cats. So it's imagine you have a tiny zillion cats. Each cat has a super simple job. Maybe one cat looks for pointy ears, another checks for a long tail. When a cat sees its thing, it gets excited. It nudges the cats nearby. These cats have their own tiny jobs. Maybe one counts how many nudges it gets. If it gets enough nudges, it gets excited too. And so it just kind of shows you like, this is amazing. It just built all of this right now to explain neural
It's
networks. This is
crazy.
awesome. And that's just something that's pre-built, preloaded in here, right? What's cool is you asked me originally, okay, what can you build with this? Well, first of all, anything that you can imagine that Gemini could theoretically do. So as you can see, there's a ton of examples here. We just skimmed through.
And I
But
would stretch your imagination a little.
yeah, you could I mean, you can do more than you think you could do, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
But if you needed, help trying to figure out an idea, they do have these templates you can choose to start from. So you can start with an empty app, you can use a prompt Gemini in this simple example, you could create a live agent, you could, sample from VO models to generate videos, Imagen to generate images, you can chat example, the little more technical things down here for people who have that technical experience. And that's just a helpful way to start a project from scratch if you know it's going to incorporate one of these different features. But yeah, you could even just say, build me, live chat app and it will just kind of theoretically put that together for you easily.
So, I think that's really interesting because I think there are just so many use cases for this out there. I mean, you could build out a tool that's querying a database at a whim as you need it. You could have creative writing tools, workflow automations, I mean, games, obviously as well. There's a variety of things you could do. And I think something that makes this really cool to me is that it really democratizes app creation in the AI
Totally.
space. Because as it is, something people don't realize is that app creation's expensive. It's a big money game. And we've tried to spin them up before for, various newspapers I've worked with in the past and other publishers. And, it's big bucks, it's a lot of work, it's a major project, there's a lot of planning, there are teams involved. This is, you with a keyboard in 30 free minutes or less. You know, that's
Yeah.
big, and I think where we're gonna see that have an impact as everyone else builds out a tool just like it, because that's how AI rolls, is that I think what we'll see is this really benefit not just small businesses, but like really small businesses, individual entrepreneurs, companies made up of, less than 5 people who have a need for an app or a proprietary tool, but do not in any way have the budget or the expertise to make that happen. And, maybe there's a SaaS solution, but it's more in depth than they want or what they need, or a little out of reach cost wise. I'm thinking specifically of like, business intelligence kind of things, to be able to spin some of that kind of stuff up on your own and have, maybe a little more rudimentary but still impressive solution at your fingertips is that's pretty primo.
Oh yeah, and I think beyond that, like beyond anything you would deploy customer facing, it just opens up the aperture of possibility for anyone who wanted to create a piece of software that doesn't exist. And
Yeah,
you're constantly searching for, man, I wish there was an app that just did this. Like I just needed to do this one thing. It wouldn't be practical to go out and raise all the money you need to go build that just for something that would improve your life meaningfully on a day-to-day
yeah,
basis or
that
just give you something entertaining that you thought of.
or
Um,
just because it's fun. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but you can do that now, which is pretty awesome. And so I want to point out what separates this and tools like this from, say, like what ChatGPT has been able to do all along is not, this doesn't just write the code for you. First of all, it brings it up in a demo so you can actually test it out, which is amazing. But second of all, anyone who is a non-coder trying to build apps, even coders trying to build apps, uh, getting it actually out into the world is the hardest part. Sure, you can spin up some
Shipping is a
code.
struggle, yeah.
Yeah, shipping it is the hard part, and so that's what all of these vibe coding apps are trying to solve for, is they're trying to solve how do you actually get it so that people are not just building with and writing code with AI, but actually getting it out there, and so Google's solution is obviously deploying on Google Cloud, but the cool part about this is you can actually download this code at any point, and run it and run it on your own backend or how whatever system you wanna run it
Your own
on, your own
server in your
server.
closet if you wanted to.
Exactly. So
Yes.
there's a lot of flexibility here, which is really cool.
I think it's time to begin the quest. I don't know how many minutes we'll be in when this is edited, but I'd say we're about 15 minutes deep. So we've got some time to spare, and I think probably enough. We don't have to make them great. We just need to make a functional app that does the thing we say it can do.
Yeah. And I'm gonna try and do something kind of tough for this first one. So I don't know if it's gonna be able to do it. And the reason it
It
might
may or
not
may
be able
not be.
yeah, the reason it may not be able to do it is it might need certain integrations and permissions that I won't be able to give it necessarily right away. So let's see how far we get. Okay, you ready?
Let's do it.
All right. So what we're going to build first, this is something that Corey and I thought of minutes before getting on this call, is we want to create an inbox zero tool. So the pitch that we have here is inbox zero buddy. It ingests your Gmail inbox, clusters messages by urgency topic, spits out one-click reply drafts, and a prioritized to-do list, and maybe connect it via MCP. But we'll get to that part first. Does this look good to you, Corey?
That looks good to me, Brent.
All right, let's run it. So as you can see, we didn't pick any starting template. We're just giving
Click
it
the
the
caret
idea.
down so they can see the speed. On the thinking tab where it opens that gray window. Yeah,
Yeah,
where
right
you can
here.
see the speed this happens with. It's crazy.
So it's structuring the app right now. It's then developing the application components. And so it's got a couple of files that it's making. It's developing the application core, which I guess is just figuring out what is the core application. And here it looks like it says, well, I can't see it now. We're just going to let it run. But I'll go back and explain how this works. Now it's implementing the Gemini integration. So that's what makes this different from like a tool, say like Lovable, which maybe we'll show at the end of this. Where
Yeah.
Lovable is a vibe coding app where you can take the same concept and the same pitch and say like, go make me, a Gmail inbox tool. And it will go do it and it can spin it up on its own servers, but it
Mhm.
can't automatically integrate with, say, Gemini because it doesn't have that built into it. So you would have to go and get what's called an API key from Gemini, probably here in AI Studio, and then you'd have to add that in on the back end on Lovable. What's nice
I
about
find
doing
for
this on
making getting
Gemini,
an API key really easy too, since you're right there.
yeah, you can literally just click this and it'll set it up. But what's cool about this is you don't even really need an API key to actually use this, right?
That's right.
Yeah, it basically just gives you it essentially bypasses that step until you actually go and deploy it, and it handles
Yeah.
all of that for you. So, for people who've been watching, it's been coding, and it's coded something called the app.tsx. Then it's got the components where it's got the email input area, it's got the icons, it's got a pulsing icon, and a results display. Then it's also got the index files, HTML, which is like the web-facing
The
version, and the
preview.
TSX. All right. And so now we've got a preview. So let's pull this up. So inbox zero
Wow.
buddy, paste your inbox. So I actually don't know how it's proposing that this functions. So let's go ahead
That's
and
not the
ask. Let's
easiest
say,
functionality, is it?
we'll say, okay, what the heck is this functionality? Please explain it to me in the simplest possible way, yet completely explaining every function in a bullet point list because that's easy to read.
Yes. We can
Uh,
buzz through a bullet point list.
so we're gonna go ahead and let it think and explain itself. Like now I have to distill everything that I just came up with. It's outlining the functions, it's detailing the app workflow, it's describing the app, it's outlining the app functionality, it's now detailing blah blah blah. Okay. Of course, I'd be happy to explain how Inbox Zero works. At its core, this application is a smart assistant designed to read a raw dump of your emails and automatically organize them for you. The goal is to quickly show you what's important, what actions you need to take, and even help you reply. So, core components and functionality, then it kind of explains how each of these work. Do you have any specific questions, Corey? Because I have one.
I think at its core is I don't even know how to paste an inbox, so perhaps you
Exactly.
need to
That's
find
exactly my
another
problem.
way.
So it's like, okay, this is cool, but nobody really knows how one would uh paste an entire inbox into
I'll put $1 on that it's going to give us instructions on how to paste your inbox
what did I say? Like,
versus the connection.
so instead of pasting the inbox, how about you make it so the app works with Gmail instead? It's kind of a creative solution
Inbox?
because I wasn't sure how it was going to solve this problem on its own. So it's
Yeah.
like, okay, yeah, you just paste the inbox in, sure.
Yeah, we kinda threw this one in here knowing it was gonna be the hardest of the 3. Like, the
Yeah.
other 2 that we have planned, uh, are probably way easier than this.
Yeah, presumably so.
Yeah. Though I have been wrong before, at least once.
So let's say like you as a viewer are trying to do this and you come up with a great pitch and you put it together and it comes back with something that is not at all what you were thinking of. There's two things you could do. One, you could have it do what we're doing here, which is have it go back and rewrite everything. But that's probably not practical. Actually, what would be better is to say, okay, this is what happens when I don't give it all of the context it needs to succeed, which is where the term context engineering comes into
Yep.
play. And instead, what I would do is I would spin up another instance and I would try it again, this time being even more specific with the goals that you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, I think that's a really good call out. Like, just like with anything else, it's only gonna be as good as the context you give it. Because the truth is, if you're not giving it the context, it's going to make assumptions. And, every assumption is, I mean, a human can't read your mind, so there's no reason to believe that Google can eat well, maybe Google can. Wrong
If
example.
anyone,
Any
Google
other
could.
company if any company can read my mind, it's definitely Google. I'm watching you, YouTube. And,
Yeah.
uh, but you've gotta feed it the context. That context is big. It helps it understand what you wanna do. It needs to know why you wanna do it, what kind of functionality you want, what kind of results you want, how you want your results presented. It's all great information to be giving this thing.
Yeah. And so if we were going to structure this prompt in a way that would probably be best for it to be received, we would want to give it like the goal at the beginning, which the goal is to create this. You don't really need to give it a role. I think that's probably handled by this UI that Gmail has made
Yeah,
or Google's made, where it's like it knows it's a app building agent at this point.
yeah,
So you want to give it the goal, and then you'd also want to give it like explicitly how you think of it is going to work. Basically, you need what's called a well, I'm just going to simplify it, a vision for how it works. So
yeah.
you need to have like a mental model of how you want this app to work and how you conceive of it working. And you can break that out either, very, very granularly, or you could just kind of broadly break it out, see what it comes up with, and then adjust your plan from there. Like if you have, we're talking if you have no software engineering experience at all here.
If it was me, what I would do is I would start out with O3 Pro, and I would go in and tell it, "I want to build an app using Google's app builder. Here's what I'm thinking. Here are the kind of functionalities I want. Build me out a roadmap of everything that I need to feed this thing to get it to build the app I want, and have it build the prompt for you, because the truth is, it'll save you a ton of time, and you'll probably wind up with a better app, if I
Yeah.
had to guess.
Without a doubt, without question. And there's so many other like software engineering tricks and like programming tools of the trade that you can
Mhm.
apply to improve. So this is just the tip of the iceberg basically here. So I'm going to show two things real quick. first one, we have this prompt here that says something went wrong and it gives us the option to auto fix. So let's go ahead and auto fix that. This is rule number one for why you don't want to just have it redo everything from scratch because it's going to create all of these errors. It builds all of this code and now it has to go back and reconnect everything to make it work in a different way. So it's a big mess. So what we're going to do instead, the second thing is we're going to do exactly what Corey suggested. I'm going to go to O3 and I'm going to basically O3 Pro, and I'm going to basically tell it exactly what I want to write and what I want to create, and then I'm going to have it write the prompt for me. So
I'd recommend regular O3 because O3 Pro is going to take a half an hour.
okay, so I've went ahead here and I've entered the prompt. I'm basically saying essentially a version of what you suggested. I'm working in Google's app builder and AI Studio and want to build the following app. And then I pasted in exactly what we pasted into AI Studio. And then I said, help me create a prompt that explicitly defines all this functionality and ensures it can connect to Gmail and the formatting makes sense to this app builder. And then I'm adding a search function. I'm going to say, use search to make sure you understand the Google AI Studio app builder, look it up, and how it best receives prompts before you write your prompt. And this is a trick that I do whenever I am like referring to a specific platform. I will
Mhm.
have it go out and search and get all the up to date information. I'm usually even more specific than this, and I say, as of newest as of July 23rd, 2025, so that it
And
gets the most up to date info. But yeah,
I do that with news gathering. One of the struggles is LLM training sometimes gets you funky results around times. So I'll go in and tell it like, "Hey, it's 6:22 a.m. on July 23rd. Get me everything from the last 12 hours on this subject."
yeah, that's a great way to do it, especially if you need something really timely. In this case,
Mhm.
AI Studio's app builder has been out for a minute, so I wasn't too specific. But if I wanted to say something like, give me the most up to date prompt advice for this as of 12 hours ago, then that would be where I would use that. And as you can
Yeah.
see, it's just searching the web here. So while it's looking that up, let's go back to our AI Studio builder. And it looks like it had another error. Let's see this here. It
I
says,
think I think you start it from scratch when we go back.
oh, yeah,
When
definitely.
you
I
come in
think
with the
this
new
is
code, I think
toast.
you just scrap this and throw that in and see what comes out. Because 'cause I'll bet what comes out is way better.
Yeah, I think this functionally is dead on arrival at this point.
Oh, yeah.
So this is why you always start over. And I think this actually would be a good place to talk about this. Quick side tangent. Corey, are you familiar with the concept of context rot?
No.
Okay, I think you are. You just may not have never heard it framed this way before. So, context rot is when the longer a conversation goes on with the AI, the harder it is to focus on what's really important, and it
How it kinda falls
loses.
apart and the answers get worse and yeah.
Exactly. And that is one reason why the first time you prompt the AI, you usually get the best answer you're going to get when you work with it. So
Yeah.
it's why it's usually good to like, hey, instead of continuing a conversation where you left off with special exception, which we'll get into in a minute, it's usually better to just start over and start an entire new
And
chat.
it's usually isn't it usually going back at every message and reading the full conversation history above it again
That's right.
each
So it
time?
doesn't remember
So your prompts are
anything.
getting huge.
Yeah. So imagine starting with like a massive prompt that's like, 30,000 words or something like that. Every time you prompted it, it would be hard for the AI to give you 100% what you
Yeah,
want.
it
Yeah.
would.
All right. So
That's a great call out a good place for it.
speaking of prompts,
Oh,
let's go
yeah.
ahead and see what it came up with here. I'm not even gonna read
Um,
everything that it wrote. I'm just gonna go ahead and ooh, it's got
uh-oh.
multiple. Oh, what's going on here? I'm gonna
Oh.
say just give me the prompt, bro. And let's see if it can figure it out. So in the
Yeah, it looks like
meantime,
it
I'm
gave
gonna
you 2 prompts.
you have unsafe changes. Are you sure you want to leave this page? Yes, because that's a piece of junk.
We're gonna start over. And we're still gonna finish in an hour. That's what you need to know.
Yeah. Corey, do we want it while this prompt is generating here? Do we want to try our second attempt?
I say let's go ahead and do the second one while we wait.
Let's do it. Okay, so the second one that we had planned is meme me up. So the idea of this is you're going to drop any photo, AI spits out a captionable meme suggestion set, and it will include the image. So let's see if it can make meme me up.
Do you want me to send you a ridiculous photo?
Yes, please, always. No questions asked.
Okay. Here's a photo of a pager. I've got a vintage phone. I have no idea where these pictures came from. Let's
Are you
I'll
going to
tell you
send it
what,
to me on Slack?
I'm gonna send it to you in Slack. Yeah.
Perfect. I'll download it and throw that
How
in here when
about
this is ready.
if it makes fun of you and I, Grant,
Oh, perfect.
like this? Well,
Awesome.
we need to it would help if you have the one without the background. You have the kitty cat one.
Oh, I do. I do. Let me see if I can pull that up. All right. So we've got all of the stuff we need pulled up. So we are going to try this out. So first of all, we have got our prompt for V2 of inbox zero buddy. All right, so I copied over the whole thing. Looks like it added some JSON, which is this formatting structure here. You might see this the more that you mess around with AI code stuff. And so I'm going to go ahead and send both the prompt and the JSON, and let's see what happens. All right, well, we're letting that cook. We're going to go back over to me up. Looks like, okay, got something here. Let's
Looks
go
like
ahead
it's
and
working. Or
let's
present.
drag our photo in. So I've got the photo that you and I want to use, Corey.
This is
And
where we
I
find out how bad it's gonna roast it.
launch on Spotify. There we go. All right. There we go. Now let's generate a meme.
Let it work.
Generating witty memes. Okay, we've got some suggested captions. When the team meeting requires creative input. Okay.
Oh, enthralling.
Corey and Grant leveling up our professional game. Nice.
Oh.
Our faces when we hear let's circle back on that. Uh, okay, gotta rise out to Corey.
Yeah,
Uh,
okay, I'll accept that one.
just two cool cats ready to tackle the week. New headshot dropped. Feel free to screenshot. Okay.
I gotta say, those are pretty lame. Perhaps we tell it to add in some, witty sarcasm.
All right. Let's say we need to boost up the sarcasm. Let's 10x that.
These need to be funny.
Sass. They need to be funny and potentially roasting the picture. Let's try that. All right, let's go back to inbox zero. Still coding away over here. Gotta love it.
We're gonna have to cry when this is over. It's gonna destroy us, Grant.
That's what I'm wanting. Okay, so it says an internal error has occurred. I'm gonna hit retry. See what happens there. Okay, just let that cook. So now we got it finalizing the prompt adjustments over here. I've cranked up the sassometer to 11. All right, Gemini. All right. You set your
All right,
expectations. Let's try this again.
here we
Click to
go.
upload. Gotta upload
I
the
cast vicious
boys.
mockery.
Let's see if we get some vicious mocks. Let's see.
Oh, this
All
will be
right.
fun.
Corey and Grant, the only men who make catfishing literal. Their LinkedIn profile picture, probably. Nah. This is what happens when you let the interns design the marketing campaign. Breaking news, adulthood has been canceled for these two. When you ask for playful headshots and get this. All right, I like it. I'm gonna add one more level. Okay.
Yeah,
You
I think it needs to go to more like 20.
okay. That was good. But we need the sass to be ratcheted up 100x. We need
Oh
you to
gods.
make us burn like the heat of 1,000 suns. Also, can we regenerate? Well, this is another I want to do. I want to have it try and actually put this in a meme format. So that'll be the final test there.
The final
Uh,
test.
I'm gonna go ahead and check on Inbox Buddy. All right, it's cooking. I'm
Okay.
liking it.
Still going.
Yeah. Corey, you want to introduce us to the third app we want to create here, and then we'll
I
let these cook
can.
on the side. Okay.
All right. So while Grant's been working, I have also been working, and as has O3 in building me a prompt for this next app, which we are calling the Spontaneous SideQuest Spinner. This is where you will input your current location, your budget, and any interest you have. AI will then design a spontaneous micro adventure itinerary with some food, fun photo ops, and odd landmarks, maybe a bar. Anything
Love it.
fun around to do that might make for a fun time. So I've got the prompt in here. It's lengthy, and we're gonna see what happens when we hit go.
Let's do it.
Dun dun dun.
All right.
Whoa. Oh, that's
Okay.
that's the prompt.
Code's looking good. That was the prompt.
Yeah, that was the prompt. Okay, let's drop this down so we can watch it work at a speed that we would never reach in a billion years.
I know. I know. Imagine if you were trying to learn programming and you were trying to build this yourself.
This would be
I
so
mean,
discouraging. Like, why am I learning this?
well, I mean, remember last week's or a couple weeks ago, we did an episode on AI education, right? So if your goal
Yeah,
is to actually learn coding, then you do want to be doing a part of this yourself. And so that's, a topic for the previous episode. What do you see?
includes the root element for the app to tell. I have an error. Tailwind CSS CDN link and links to Google Fonts and a PWA manifest. Retry.
Interesting. That's never happened before.
Yeah, I've not had that one happen before. It's really knocking into my hour here, though. Outlining the structure. If this kicks out, I'm going to go back and simplify my prompt a little bit.
Sounds good. Yeah, sometimes I feel like O3 will definitely overcomplicate the
But it was
prompt.
throwing it weird because it was giving me some of it as text and then some of it as SQL for whatever reason. And then a certain amount of it in loose text. And I'm afraid the loose text that it threw down there was poorly pasted JSON, which might be enough to break this and cause the JSON problems.
I could see that being
Oh,
the problem.
oh, I'd be
Well,
happy to build it for you. This sounds fun and creative. Interactive form. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. Here are the code
awesome. Just going
changes
for it.
we're building out. All right. The real question will be how long does this take?
I've
Um,
got an update on the meme me up if you want
o-
to see the latest
okay. In
version.
that case, I'm going to take this one down and let Grant share up, meme me up, and we'll see how that one's going. See if it is sufficiently shamed us and embarrassed us for our whiskers in that image.
All right. So I love the first one. It says, when your midlife crisis involves a cat filter and questionable life choices. The only duo whose fan club consists solely of their moms and a confused house cat. Pretty sure, pretty sure I've seen more convincing cat impressions from a vacuum cleaner. They say never meet your heroes. Clearly, these guys never met a mirror before this photo. Somewhere a litter box is calling and wants its whisker aesthetic back. Okay, that didn't make any sense. That's some AI slop there. Um, I'm gonna
Oh
say
my God.
this is great, but can you take the initial image and using Imagen generate the memes in a meme format? So text on image once the user selects the caption they like. So
Yeah.
this
Now we're
functionality
talking.
should work the same way it does now, but then add a button so that the user can select their favorite meme, favorite caption, and memify the image with Imagen. Let's let it work on that. All right.
I have an issue.
What's happening on your end? You want to share your
Well,
screen?
it looks like it's done, but I can't figure out how to get the preview to come up.
Hmm. You know what you could do in that instance is you can tell it, let's load the preview,
That's a good
or
idea.
let's make sure there's a preview to review. So add some sort of HTML front end for us to look at and test it. Because I have the same problem on inbox zero, buddy.
Did
So
you? Okay.
yeah,
Interesting. Okay. It's putting us together a preview. Now we analyzing map integration. Let's see if we can tell what it's calling here.
it might be that we
Gemini,
need to tell it like, hey, build a front end for us to test it. That might be the way you need to phrase that.
it's integrating with Google Maps as you would hope. Um, developing map display component. Interesting. Uh, I'll test it out and move it to the budget bar. Budget bar.
Nice.
Let's
I
see.
like the
Okay.
sounds of this.
Yeah. Uh, it's still rolling, still cooking. So we're in the wait and see phase. This is really cool, Grant. I can see a lot of applications here, and I'm really impressed with what I've seen. Like the truth is, I am fully acknowledging of the fact that I have no idea how to go in and fix this, and I think that's important to call out. Like I could go in and I could understand how to get it to call a different model. I could make it do that. I could change colors and dimensions. I could drop in some new files, that kind of stuff. But as far as the nuts and bolts of what's making it work, that's a thing that I, as a non-developer, and it's just a skill that I am missing.
Yeah, and transparently, pretty much everyone who's trying to vibe code and build their own app is going to have that same problem. And there's a lot of, like I mentioned, there's a lot of resources for people showing how to, how to ideate and design the best tool possible, like before you take it to code. Right? There's a lot of ways that you can improve your like initial prompt in order to create something that's going to have the best shot on goal in order to win. There's also a lot of ways that you could potentially improve your skills by reading other developers who are experienced in this space, and they're actually trying to figure out what is the best way to code with AI in this way, and also just kind of try to teach yourself on the fly. Like, let's say, try to build something really, really simple and then go back once it's done and it's working, ask Gemini, okay, explain exactly how this works to me and show me
Yeah.
step by step, explain and break it down. And then go through the code and then ask like, okay, for this piece of code, what does this code do? How does it work? You can even ask it to do this, let's say you're working in O3 Pro or Gemini 2.5 Pro in the chat model. You could ask it to help you design a program from scratch and all the features you need before you ever take it to code. So like say, okay, this is what I want to do. Let's break down feature by feature what I need to build in order to do this, and then work with it backwards to reverse engineer it. So you're not coming up with one sentence prompt, take it to Google Builder and expect it to build you a full application, but instead you're, working incrementally in order to program something. I think that's the way I would go
Okay.
about it if I were
That makes sense. That makes sense. I can see why that would be beneficial. Um, yeah, I'm still having hiccups here. I'm gonna figure this out though, because we have a time limit, and I just refuse to not hit it. I'm gonna start over, and I think I'm gonna just do this prompt differently than I did originally. Do you have any updates on your end?
Same issues over here. I'm letting it try and work itself out. Looks like here it says to provide a rich preview for the user interface without needing to make a live API call. I'll populate the application with some realistic mock data. Okay, so
Fingers crossed.
one thing I would recommend people do is if they're going to try to build a simple application like this, I would add some language that says like, don't over engineer it. Make it as simple as possible for a
Yeah,
1.0 version, because these
that's
O3
fair.
prompts might be like really over engineering it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and the truth is, yeah, yeah, they may very well. It's also possible that what we're dealing with is that the SideQuest Spinner is not as easy as it sounds on the surface because
Mm.
it does have to access a map. It has to be able to recognize current events and businesses in the region and, be able to tag that with a budget and have an idea how to be sure that they're spending the way you want to, along with a calendar. So, like, this is probably actually, it's a lot more impressive the second time watching it go.
Yeah,
And,
this is kind of cool to see it cook.
yeah, it's absolutely cooking right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, maps, spinner, budget guard, budget bar. It's doing the map view,
There's a
uh,
great, while this is
an
loading,
itinerary card.
there's a great video that I watched to kind of help me learn how to use this tool. And it is by No Code MBA. And it's a step by step
Yes.
tutorial that shows you basically like how to get started on this tool, AI Studio. And it shows you how to debug and handle errors and like tips for that. It's got pros and cons. So we're going to go ahead and link to that in the description of this video.
Yeah,
So if anyone
absolutely.
finds this idea kind of fun and wants to check it out and try it themselves, you can totally watch that video and
And we
get
wanna
some
see
really good
what you
tips.
build, you know? We
Yeah,
wanna see what
definitely.
you built, and,
Paste
also,
it in the
just like a
comments.
quick mention here that if you're enjoying this, if you like the channel, if you enjoy the newsletter, please give us a like and a subscribe. Whether you're watching on YouTube, listening on Apple or Spotify, we really appreciate that. We love to interact with you in the comments. We think that's a ton of fun and, enjoy the insight you really bring to the table. And now, a spontaneous side quest spinner seems to be functional. So let's check this out. We're going to put it where I'm at. We're going to say I'm in St. Louis, Missouri. We're going to say a budget of, we're going to say $2,000. That's a lot, but we're going to roll with it anyways. And we're going to say 4 days. It probably should ask us for a date in retrospect, but it's going to generate an itinerary. Planning your adventure. Our
I
AI
love the
charting
little
the
like
perfect course.
icons.
Wow. I gotta say, I really think that this is a big step up from the first iteration I've seen on these so far. I think maybe the answer is going and letting a reasoning model build you out a really baller prompt. Oh wow. Oh wow. Budget tracker, 157 of $2,000. View interactive route. Day one. Uh, Wait, view
Does that
interactive
work?
route.
Yeah, let's click
Yeah,
that.
let's see what it does. Oh, you have
Oh
gotta
my
be kidding
god.
me. Oh, oh, snap.
What?
Oh, snap.
Let's go.
Oh my gosh.
There's no way that's
Okay.
the most optimal route though. Let's be
No, that's
honest.
absolutely not the most optimal route, and I'm assuming it's based on what we're seeing here. Let me blow this up where it's bigger. Yeah,
This is
it's
sick.
starting at all the right places. Gateway Arch National Park. You obviously gotta see the arch if you come to St. Louis. The
Gotta
old
see the arch.
courthouse, city garden, Ted Drew's. You gotta come have frozen custard if you're in St. Louis. Day
Fun
2 is
fact, I
Forest.
did.
You did, that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, Forest Park is an obvious hit. The art museum, the zoo, those are both in Forest Park. So it's also understanding that those are in the same vicinity. Now the Anheuser-Busch
Wow.
Brewery experience is not in that region, but it's 15 minutes away. It's not far. You could absolutely still do these in one day. And I highly recommend the brewery experience. It's a lot of fun and comes with free beer. Um,
Say
Day
less.
3, Science Center, Botanical Gardens, the World Chess Hall of Fame, go to the Hill for a fancy Italian dinner. Did it recommend a respin food stop? You can respin, Grant,
What?
certain elements if you maybe wanna try a different one here. It's the spinner. It's the, spontaneous SideQuest Spinner,
Oh yeah.
and
Wait,
you can
what happens
respin.
if you click it?
We're gonna find out. Respin food stop.
Does it work? That function might not be ready yet.
I don't think that function's ready. I'm still okay. City Museum, you got to hit City Museum. You got to go to Gus's Pretzels and eat a pretzel, dude. This is a great. If you were going to come to St. Louis, had never been here before. Also, I'd like to add that it's not exaggerating. Like that's $157 of fun right there. 4 days.
Wow.
I mean, $18 free, free, $10 free, free, free,
Yeah,
15.
fun fact, the zoo is free in St. Louis, so if
Yeah,
you're gonna go,
it
go
is.
check it
If you
out.
park on the street and don't mind walking a little bit, you can park there free. This is grand, grand.
Yo, Corey, did we just solve travel planning?
I absolutely did not expect something that advanced from like, there's not a stop. I just one shot that thing. That was
You did
one
hey, Corey,
drop.
you did it in an hour. You did it in under
I
an
did
hour.
I did it in less time than it would take me to, I don't know, definitely drink a cup of coffee.
So
Like
what did you do
more less time than
differently?
it takes to pour the cup of coffee.
What did you do differently from the first prompt to this prompt?
I'll tell you what I did differently. The first prompt, I grabbed everything that O3 gave me. And it, like I said, it broke it apart in two languages and there was text in the middle. Remember me saying, I think that's plain text JSON just dropped into a chat response, which looked
Mhm.
bad. And I was hesitant to even try that. So I pulled it out and I came back and I just grabbed the prompt at the top, what was in plain text, dropped it in, hit enter, and I mean, we have software. I
Yeah,
I
that's
cannot get
amazing.
over this, that it has gone, it has built this map with all of the directions, like, you would wanna stick your hotel in here somewhere, maybe wherever you wanna eat lunch, but you could run off this map most of the week.
Even just this alone, so, like, I actually went, to Missouri recently, met up with you in person, and yeah, it was a great time. But, just having this little like map, like it would take so long to add all of these stops onto your own Google Maps. But now looking at this, you can just say, oh my gosh, I know that I need a hotel somewhere in that, X amount mile radius and I'm good because then I'm,
Yeah,
in the
yeah, I
middle
need
of
a
everywhere I want
hotel
to go.
here, you know, right here in the
Exactly.
center. The other thing I would say, we were initially a little concerned that the map was maybe kinda chaotic, but what I'll point
Right.
out is that 1 through 4, like 1 through 3 are walking distance close, like
Wow.
less than 3 blocks, with Ted Drew's Custard being a walk. Forest Park, Art Museum, Zoo, that's all parking in one spot. You're
You're
there.
right.
Well, maybe 2 spots, but you theoretically, if you're in the same park.
Your point is
Uh,
that these are clusters. Like this
these are
cluster over
clusters.
here is a day.
Yeah.
That cluster at Forest Park is a day. Yeah.
It has absolutely bundled them by region
Wow.
intelligently, which impresses me a lot. Like,
That is
this is
so cool.
probably the order I would hit them in. Oh, it did give us a new Italian restaurant, Zia's on the Hill. Zia's. Oh. The Hill is a very, very old Italian region of St. Louis that is covered in all the best handmade pasta around.
Wait, that's
It's
interesting. So are you saying that when you hit the button to respin, it did end up spinning a new restaurant that
apparently
just added to the Google map?
because it, well, let me show you this. Over on this side, it doesn't give a name for the restaurant. It just said The Hill Italian Dinner. Savor authentic Italian cuisine in this historic, so yeah, I did something.
Click it again and let's check it
Click it
again.
again and we'll go see. I might be crazy. Yeah, $50 of that budget is the Italian dinner. And that
And see,
might be
this
a
is
little
great.
low for a good Italian dinner, if I'm being honest.
That's fair. What's great about this, I just want to highlight is that so now you can, as you're testing it, you can see this is a user design thing you need to fix. Did
Yeah.
it update?
Yeah, no, it didn't. Yeah,
Okay.
apparently the respin food stop button doesn't work, but you bet your tail that's something I can fix in the end.
Yeah, no, you can basically go to Gemini now and say, "Hey, so everything is working great except the respin button doesn't update." And
Yeah.
you might want to, give it a very narrow objective in order to try and solve that, just that one functionality without breaking everything else.
Yeah.
But with a little thought and engineering mind, you could probably put that together and say, okay, what's the best way to solve this issue, and
We're gonna
put it
try
together.
something else.
Let's do it.
St. Peter's, $1,000. This is more the suburb area I'm in. 2 days and see what it does. I wanna see what it gives us for this one. Oh, I didn't
Let's,
I forgot to
yeah.
swap screens back over, my apologies.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah, I put it on St. Peters, Missouri, $1,000 budget, 2 days.
This is
Um,
awesome.
this is, this was the wild card. This was the last option on the list, almost didn't make the cut as something we would try to do. This was really, like, I just thought there's no way it's gonna do this well because that's pretty complex.
Yeah.
Budget tracker, $230, view my interactive route. Where's it at? 370 Lakeside Park. That's a cool little spot. 370 Lakeside Park is it's 5 minutes up the road from me.
Mm,
It's a park, little campground, some little stuff you can do, nothing major. The Shack, restaurant, breakfast at the Shack, okay. Serendipity homemade ice cream. I don't know them, but I'm going to. Bandanas, okay, bandanas is good. Bandanas Shamrocks. Shamrocks is the spot. It's just a cool little bar and grill kind of place, good food, live music once in a while.
nice,
St. Peter's
nice.
St. Peter's Recplex, really neat. Stefanina's Pizza. Yeah, if you're in St. Louis, that's what the other one didn't do. It didn't suggest eating St. Louis pizza, which is
Ah,
absolutely a thing I would have not suggested either. So I think that it gets it.
maybe, okay, go back up to how this works at the top.
JJ's. I've eaten JJ's. Okay.
Maybe we would add an extra text field here that says like something to the effect of wild card input from the user. And
Yeah,
the
like, I wanna
wild
hit a
card,
bunch of breweries, or I wanna hit, all of
yeah,
the parks. I wanna play disc golf too while we're there, work
yeah.
that in, or
I
a
want to
golf
only
course.
eat at
Ooh,
the most
golf
St.
course.
Louis places possible. Like,
Yeah,
you
I
know,
wanna eat all of the St. Louis food, yeah. I want
yeah,
toasted ravioli and yeah. Oh, this is sick.
yeah, this
Le
is awesome. So,
how is yours going? I'm gonna stop here. I'm gonna continue working on this
yeah.
after this, but I'm definitely calling that a win today.
I think what I like about this, like, okay, obviously we're not applying, coding best practices. We're kind of
Yeah.
just winging it and having fun. But what I like about it is it just shows you like the possibility of what you can
Yeah.
do. And it just sparks your creativity, which I love.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to upload our picture one more time. Allegedly, the functionality is built in so that now once we enter our picture, we'll get a series of captions and then we can potentially generate a meme from those captions. So let's see.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see.
What are
Their
our
spirit
horrible
animals are
captions?
definitely mildly confused house cat and overpriced artisanal beard. Corey, I think that one might have been directed at you.
Oh, that's a cold jab.
When you order fierce on Wish and get Corey Knowles and Grant Harvey. Pretty sure
All
Corey
right,
Knowles and
Google,
Grant
you better
Harvey is
watch
code
it.
for failed internet challenge. Okay, rude. The only thing sharper than those whiskers is the regret of whoever suggested them. If I peaked in junior high drama
Don't
club was a
disagree.
picture, this would be their yearbook photo. That
Oh,
feels that hits for me.
that stings, yeah.
Let's do it the first one though. I think
Okay,
the
I
first
agree.
one. So now we're gonna generate a meme image. Okay. All right. It's kind of misses the point of a meme. You're supposed to be able to see the image and the text. So
I would also say that, though, it's not a fail. It would not take much to make that work.
yeah. Yeah.
Like,
In
I mean,
fact, you know what I'm
it's a
gonna do?
matter of
So what you can do is you can take a screenshot, right? And then you can
uh-huh.
upload that screenshot and you can say, this is how the meme generated. Can you fix the prompt for Imogen or the code? Whatever is necessary and most elegant slash simplest solution. Um, can you fix the prompt for Imogen or the code? Whatever is the most blah 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 blah. So that it does it so that the text doesn't completely cover the image like regular memes. All right. And what's awesome about that is that because these models are multimodal, which means they are image based and they can also accept video and audio,
Yeah,
it can basically take that image and then it can see the context of what you're seeing so that it can get better context for how to solve the problem.
exactly. That's awesome.
Yeah. So, all right.
So we got that one back at
Now,
work.
what happened to zero inbox? So we had an error. Basically, I was trying to get it to give me a UI element front end so that I could actually look at it. And in this case, it seems like there's having a lot of problems. This is not an easy solve, right?
Great. Go back to that original request you gave to O3 and grab what's in. It sent return 2 boxes. Grab only what's in the top box and see if you have similar luck to what I did.
Let's do it.
I would say we firmly have 2 functional apps. We have one good one and one that's really, really close to being good.
I just wonder if it's not going to be able to do it because it requires an integration with Gmail, which by the
That's
way, that is
definitely maybe a thing.
mhm.
Um, though, it's logged into your Gmail. It's logged into your Google account right now that you're using. Like,
Should it
you
should
would
be
think
able.
there's probably not a far leap for it to be able to make that connection, I would think, maybe.
Yeah. I think too another thing that we could do is we could try and show a couple alternatives while this is loading to
Yeah,
AI Studio if you want. We mentioned them
that's
in
a
the
good
beginning.
idea.
Why don't we go ahead and pull those up? So, one of the first ones is Lovable. So, the reason I like Lovable is because it's as close to the Google App Builder option as possible. In that it integrates with a backend called Supabase. So
Okay.
if you build something on here that you like and you want to spin it up, you can spin it up with a backend database on Supabase. So
With a click deploy, stick a credit card in to pay for any associated fees, which
pretty
you should
much,
be on the
yeah.
lookout for, by the way, because fees on apps can get up there pretty quick if you're not if say suddenly people are using it and you're not paying attention and don't have a solid monetization strategy, you could really quick have an $80,000 surprise credit card bill.
Definitely. Yeah. So, you know, this works the same way where it's a build me an app that is a simple meme generator. You know, it's not going to work as well because it doesn't have the easy integration with AI. So let's do
Yeah,
something even simpler. Build me a calculator app. And we'll just okay. I'm not logged in at the moment, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that off screen. But another option, right, is Claude.
yeah,
And so Claude has what's called projects or artifacts, and artifacts are cool. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna make sure it's turned on. Um, okay, let's see. And I'm gonna say, build me an app that works with Claude AI and is a chat app to chat with Claude in a computer, let's say like a 90s computer aesthetic, using artifacts. Let's try that. See if
there you
this
go.
works.
I like that.
Yeah, so there's multiple ways that that could fail, so we'll just let that run. In the meantime, I'm gonna
Yeah,
open
and
up.
most of the AI tools now, even in a normal chat window, are capable of building something.
Yeah,
Like, most all of them, you can absolutely do some level of this. Now, spinning it up and deploying is where it gets tricky. Like, if you're building these in some apps, you're gonna have to, containerize it at some point and do all of the things required involved in deploying an app. Uh, but they can do the job. Um,
they can. While this is running, I'm gonna go ahead and show you just a couple other options. I've used them before, but I'm not logged
Markedly
in, so I'll
slower
just
than
kind of.
Google too, by the way.
You're right. So VO, this is from Vercel. Vercel is kind of like what's the simplest way to describe it? Like it helps you easily spin up and run things and deploy them quickly. So I think it's like basically like a wrapper for AWS. But if you're
Yeah.
just trying to code something simple, you can do that with VO, and it works the same way as Lovable and Google does in that regard. Then another
And
one
you're
is
probably
Volt.com.
buying space on their AWS instance and not having to go out and get your own and pay a fortune and set up all of the
Yeah,
work and labor that goes into that. It's really a smart way to start with a small app, I imagine.
exactly. Bolts.new is another one. As we mentioned, I think Grok also lets you do this. Grok is XAI's, from Elon Musk. That one you can create code on here. But yeah, so those are some of the different options that you have.
All right, so that was a lot of fun. I was a little out of my element, but it was surprisingly easy. Like while I have a little cursory knowledge of coding and NCS, it's very cursory, and like nothing I did there involved it at all. I never clicked into the terminal and did anything other than just poke around and see what was there. Like there was no need for that. We went to O3. I had it build me a prompt for what I want. I came over, I dropped the prompt into the tool, and bam, we had a highly functional, multi-step app that was calling calendars and making a budget and doing Google searches and, planned an interactive route, things like that.
It's awesome. Yeah.
It really was. It really was. So we got 2 out of 3 that I'm willing to say we built an app. So something we wanted to show here real quick before we go. I'm gonna open this tool back up. So there we are. If you want to deploy one of these, we wanted to show you what that involves. The answer is not a whole lot. So we'll click deploy to Cloud Run over here and deploy app on Google Cloud. It'll deploy your app as a Cloud Run service. It'll be accessible via a public URL. Your API key will not be exposed, but it will be used, meaning it will charge your card, which is something that's important to keep tabs on. We'll talk more about in a minute. You have to already have a Google Cloud project built up, which we don't at this moment to connect it to, but we probably should do that soon. And basically that just makes sure it's able to build. But from there, as soon as you have a project in place, you literally just hit deploy app. And there are maybe a couple steps on the other end, but it's pretty quick. It's super simple, and anyone could do it. I literally believe right now that anyone is capable of doing this. And that is a doubt I had going into today, Grant,
Yeah.
is that this is genuinely a thing anybody could do. But like I am confident this could be easily taught.
Look, can anyone build any application? No, not even close. But can anyone build a small micro application with a very
Yep.
specific use case? Yeah, we're pretty much at that point. And all it takes is trial and error, going in, figuring out what works, what doesn't work, maybe doing multiple different versions, where you change the prompt, see what happens, make edits once you have something that you like so that the functions work the way that you want them to. But yeah, anyone can build an application at this point.
That is so crazy. Like that has not always been the case. That is a new development. There have been things like Google App Sheets been out there where you could get it to like you could have an app of a form or a spreadsheet turned into kind of a loose project management tool, but they were not as robust, as attractive, as simple to make massive change to. I think that's the key is that, you can add a feature to this with a sentence while run the dog outside.
Hmm.
You
Yeah,
know, and
yeah,
just take a break, come back to your desk and it's there and it's ready. And that's awful huge. Grant,
yes.
if you were going to start, say you we're going to sit down and start from scratch. What should a person do?
So I would say that you could apply this 5-step quick start framework. So, you can go to AI Studio, you can pick a template, a pre-built template based on the type of app that you're trying to make. Uh, then you would craft the prompt. So that could be a couple steps trying to figure out, first of all, you need to outline exactly what you want to build. Second of all, you could take it to a tool like O3, ChatGPT O3, and work with it to help you create the prompt. I would like
Or 2.5 Pro's chat interface for that matter too. I'm
yeah,
sure is fine.
technically 2.5 Pro is a little bit smarter too. So on the artificial
Yeah.
analysis leaderboards, so that's perfectly valid tool to use. You can do it all in AI Studio if you wanted to. Um, and I would recommend inside of crafting the prompt, take time to work with the AI and work out your own ideas and try to figure out exactly what features you want and which ones you don't and go back and forth with it. And then based on that conversation, have it create the prompt for you. So that's step 2. 3 is then you test it. So actually run it in the AI Studio builder and see what comes up, what works, what
Just
doesn't.
like we were doing.
Yeah, just like we did today. And then iterate. So let's say like 90% of the functionality works, like what happened with AI, Corey's AI trip planner. But maybe like one of the functions isn't working. So then you go in and you iterate and you change it, or maybe you want it to look different. Maybe you want it to function differently. So iterate with it that way. And then you can deploy it. And that's the final step.
And you
Now,
don't have to tell it where in the code you think the problem is. Just tell it feature X isn't working.
yep,
Here's what's happening. Here's what it's doing. And it,
literally
it
take a
can
screenshot.
tell from that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Take a screenshot and upload it, just like Grant did. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Yeah, in fact, we never showed the result of that, but I'll pull it up at the end once we go through this other part. So if you don't want to deploy it through Google Cloud, you can also download the code, as we mentioned. So it's really easy to
Mhm.
do from there. You can download the code and then you can run that on another server that you prefer. I think another one you could use would potentially be Vercel. Another one is
Yeah.
Supabase. I don't know if you can. I think that's more for database. So maybe instead of Supabase, you would use like Railway, and we'll include links to
Yeah.
both of those down below. Not sponsored. They just happen to be
Yeah.
cool tools for this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or anything else, just do some research. Have the AI look up what's the best tool for what you're trying to do and where to host it.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't have to be AWS or Azure and cost a lot to be a large project. I mean, you could spin it up small very reasonably.
Yeah. So then, Corey, what about as far as like governance when it comes to these tools? What do you do?
That's where we get back to kind of the money talk earlier. There are a few things I would recommend you really want to watch out for in doing this. Number one is I think you want to set some kind of a token limit within your app. You want your tasks that an end user is able to do. You don't want it to run away and pull out 2 million tokens and cost you $42 per user. You want to make sure that what you've got is streamlined. It has enough to do the job well, so you want to get an idea of what the token count of your thing is. That's a thing we can get into a little deeper. If it's something that interests you, let us know and we can talk about, maybe doing a future episode on tokens, how they work, and token counts and token count tools, the various things to help you with that part of this. Um, you also want to monitor its output regularly. Go use it. Presumably, if you spin it up, you'll have access to some kind of a database that's probably saving most of what's running through it, where you can go through and look for anomalies, problems, make sure it's not recommending people go somewhere that, is dangerous or inappropriate, maybe. You want to really watch out for that kind of stuff because, I would assume directly you're going to be liable for this app if you put it out into the world. So, treat it as such. Third, and not necessarily most importantly, but one you really want to watch is cost controls. Like, you can, with most of these tools, set maximum amounts of money for how much they can ding your card for, how much is running through, and have stop gaps in there to notify you and let you know that, hey, this is getting out of hand. Because if you don't, It can just bill your credit card according to how many people are using it. And you could, in a big hurry, depending on the app you built, like the truth is, this one we're running would probably not be that cheap. It's pulling up maps. It's pulling up, I mean, like those tools are free, but they're also data intensive. And if you're dealing with math and budgets, you're dealing with calendars, you're dealing with maps. That can get costly. And if you had suddenly, maybe a few hundred, a few thousand, a million, God forbid, I mean, as great as that sounds, it could absolutely financially decimate your existence. And I think it's and, I think it's important to just make sure and keep tabs on that. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying make responsible decisions with it. Be sure that, if you're gonna put something out into the world, you're ready to put your name on it
Yeah, and
and your checkbook.
yeah, to be really precise here, what you're talking about is putting a limit on the API number of
Yes,
tokens
yes.
on the back end. So you can set a budget where you can autofill your card. If once you hit, you say you have 1 million tokens and it costs $6 from Google. Uh, Once you hit that 1 million token limit that's been output, then it would re-up. Well, you can also put a limit where he says, okay, you can spend up to $200. So I'll make this free up to the
Yes.
first $200 a month, and past that point, it's cut off and you won't spend anymore. That does mean your app won't function past $200, but that's to protect you so that you don't make something that
Yeah.
you think is cool that's connected to your API key, which means that you are the one fitting the bill, and then it goes out there and
And then
a
you
bunch
root your house.
yeah, a bunch of people use it, and then it's like you're toast. So you don't want that to happen. So,
Yeah,
um,
if it's an app where it makes sense to have a monetization strategy, you should. There's a cost associated with it. Your time has a value, the tools you're using have a value. It doesn't have to be much to go a long way. That's one of the beautiful things about AI right now is that, I mean, even the most expensive models, you can run a lot for 1 million tokens.
it's true.
Like 1 million tokens is still a lot of tokens, depending on what you're doing, obviously. If you're doing heavy data work, if you're building apps, that's a lot of tokens.
Yep.
But if you're not doing those kind of things, if you're just building out, a simple game or an app with a couple of cool functions, you can run that pretty easily.
I'd also say that there's a certain point where you might want to upgrade the tool that you're using. So right now, this is available for free if you use AI Studio, but presumably at some point it won't be free.
Yeah,
Or in the future, they'll paywall it in some respect. And it's certainly not free to post it and have it be connected to your API key. There's a cost associated there. So keep that in
exactly.
mind. But then there's also, other tools like Google offers Vertex AI, right, which is their like more advanced,
The
AI builder.
non-training wheels version.
Yeah, really complicated. You could do that for scale or for building your own custom model and running those. Other
Mhm.
people are going to tell you how to use that because that's quite complicated and not for this video. But then there's also other coding tools. So we'll do another video on this, but you could do what's called a command line interface tool, where you're actually building with the code on your computer. So that's another tool that you can
Yeah.
level up to at some point.
So if you go out after this, if you watch this and you're like, "Imma build an app," um, absolutely do that and share it. If you don't share you don't have to share the app. You record, a quick YouTube short kind of video or something and share it with us. We wanna see what you're building. We wanna see what you're doing, how you're using it, and, I really think there's a lot of fun opportunity here, and if there are cool ones, we'll share them in the Neuron. There's always a chance we'll toss it out there.
Definitely.
But I'd say we have reached round robin time for this episode. And now, today's question. What is the smallest, pettiest problem in your life that you still need an AI solution for?
Wow, this is tough. There's a lot of things that I would want to use AI to help me with, but I'm not ready to give over either control to the AI to do or access to the AI to access. So the perfect example is the Gmail inbox one. I do think that there is a place for an AI email assistant. I'm just not at the place personally where I'm ready to do it. So I'm still manually reading all my emails. And I think that that's probably the place where I really need some help, and I'm notoriously an emailaholic. Like I subscribe to everything. I never delete anything. I keep it all. Uh, so so at some point I'm going to need some help in that area, but I just haven't given over to the machine there yet.
Boy, that's gonna be a fun one to let go of, though. I so dislike email as a rule. It's so valuable, but it also just gets out of hand so quick, and it becomes a mountain. I think for me, my smallest, pettiest problem that still needs an AI solution is that I'm tired of deciding what's for dinner. I think I've mentioned this in here before,
Yeah.
but every day, me and Melissa, we go through this thing together where I ask, "Hey, what you wanna do for dinner tonight?" And she goes, "I don't care, what do you want?" And I say, "I don't care either, what do you want?" And we do that for a couple minutes, and then inevitably, one of us tosses out a solution, and the other one's like, "Nah, I don't want that." And then we'll do this back and forth, and it happens every day, and it's exhausting. What I want is a simple app where I can put in all of the foods we like to eat. These are the things we like. Um, Pick dinner.
Corey, you realize that you built like the 90% complete version of that in the AI trip planner, right?
I
Like
did.
all you have to do to make your dream come true and solve this problem that happens to you every day is go back to AI Studio and say, "Okay, I need a tool that will like randomly pick a restaurant in St. Louis for me to order food from tonight." like
That's right.
and you know just automatically decide, and maybe you have a little input where you and Melissa can choose what you want to do, and you can just go out and
Maybe
build
it can
that.
also be, do you wanna eat at home or do you want to order in,
There you go. Yeah.
or go out? You know, it's got 3 options.
And
I'm gonna have that
if you choose
before our
eat at
next
home,
podcast.
if you choose eat at home, then you have like you take a picture. It says, okay, upload a picture of your current refrigerator right now. You go in, you upload the refrigerator, and then it based on what it sees in the refrigerator, you have it like transcribe every item and then think of like what can you make from that.
I love it. It's the most tiring decision, and the reason it's such a tiring decision is because it's at the dead end of both of our work days. We're both exhausted, we're tired, and all we really want is for food to appear in front of us. And I think that also is on the horizon. Like, it is not unheard of that we could get an app to order DoorDash for us because not only am I, too tired to go pick it up, I could also be too tired to, like, go order it.
Oh yeah, well we ran a story about
Just have something here for food at 5. That's all I'm asking.
the Uber CEO is basically building that, and then we've got here in Glendale, we've got Coco Robotics, those little robots that are like coolers on
Yeah,
wheels.
those are so cute.
Yeah, we got those driving around, like delivering food to
Oh,
people.
wow.
So that's happening. That's coming.
I had a run-in with a robot the other night. I was at a Quick Trip, and they have these little robots that, um, sweep and mop the floor. They just run around the store.
Is that Marty?
But it's got
The big
it
eyes?
might be
Everybody
yeah, it's
hates
got a
Marty.
screen with eyeballs,
Yes, people
and
don't
they
like it.
blink.
I think it's psychological because the eyes are so big. It feels like he's spying on you.
It ran into me. Or
Maybe that's
probably
why
I
people
ran
don't
into
like
him.
him. Maybe that's why.
I ran into him is probably more like that would make sense if that's him. I know they said it costs like $30,000. I'm like, "That is a lot of money to clean your floors." But, uh
Well,
but it was pretty cool to watch because like, it had the eyes, and I was so weirded out by the eyes.
yeah. No, this
But
is the
yeah, I'll bet
thing.
that's Morty.
People hate Marty. Yeah.
That's cold. I mean, it wasn't like it didn't do anything wrong. It's cleaning the floor, and I'm not having to. I'll
Yeah,
tell you
but
and just, "Oh, not Rick and Morty."
people don't like the AI surveillance state, Corey.
That is true, that is true. I have a video of him that I took in the store that I'll have to share.
Let's throw it up on screen here.
This is the guy.
Oh, interesting.
He is the guilty robot.
That might not be Marty. That might be Marty's like short brother. Like, you know, the movie Twins with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny
Yeah,
DeVito? That's Marty's twin.
it says something robotics. I wrote down what its name was, I need to look at that. But yeah, this dude, it just runs around the store, and it mops the floor and dries behind itself. So, like, you
Wow.
can't even tell it's been through when it's gone, it just cleans. which I thought was super neat.
That is interesting.
Uh, and it blinks, it winks, it does things while it goes around the store.
It's kinda like the next generation of Roombas, like, the original Roombas, like, literally just
Yes,
vacuum. This is, like, vacuum plus, like
shampooer. Yeah,
yeah, plus a friendly face.
yeah. I had a run-in with him though and found it pretty cool. We were coming back from a concert and just stopped at a gas station, and I was grabbing a snack, and I looked down and I was like, "Oh, this is weird." I get into these other ones at the grocery store they have now. You see more real world robots than people give credit for.
It's true.
At our grocery store, the robots are like inventory scanners. So they're like 5 feet tall, 4 or 5 feet tall. And they just roam up and down the aisles looking at what's on this, um, what's on the shelves and presumably placing orders to get more products in where their things are out, they're empty. Um, but yeah, it's pretty common to go to our local grocery store and run into one of those now.
Wow. Have you seen, so in LA now we have the Tesla diners. Have you seen any footage of that where you've got a
No.
Optimus robot giving out popcorn to people and you can
Oh,
charge your
wow.
Tesla and get a burger while you're there? Apparently the burgers are like $14, but you know,
I think we're gonna need to do a robot episode soon and really nerd it out, because there's so much fun. Like, it's neat, there's a lot to learn, they're getting real.
there.
And, like, I mean, I it hadn't even clicked to me until just now that that's 2 places in my, like, everyday pathway that I now see them in the real world, and that's one step closer to having one that can, do my dishes and make sure my laundry's nice and clean with I get off work.
It's coming. Just wait. It's on its way.
Yeah, we have an agreed upon price at the house as to when we will take the robot plunge. So I'm keeping my eyes open. I know it's still a ways out, but there are just a few tests that we work a lot. We're busy people. We go hard all day long on purpose. It's just who we are, and we have some things we'd like to not have to deal with anymore.
Respect. I respect it.
We've just accepted it and moved on. Well, everyone, thanks so much for joining us and building along with us today. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please take a minute to smash that like button, subscribe, share it with your friends. It means a lot to us and helps us keep doing what we are. Also, if you haven't already, please take a minute, subscribe to the Neuron Daily AI newsletter with a 500,000 other people who read it in the mornings. You should be too. I hope you enjoy it. It's really centered around trying to make the AI space digestible by normal people and help you understand that in the midst of all the crazy headlines and wild stories, like, here's what you really need to know, here's what's happening, here's what's coming, and here's how it might affect you at home or at work. Um, our goal is to bring that fast moving world to you at a pace you can follow and we can follow. So we appreciate your time and your brains. Farewell for now, humans. Have a great week.
Bye bye.